open up. You open up. We should be closer than friends.
Hey guys, so I posted in 2 Facebook groups asking if there was anything that you wanted to see while we were in quarantine in terms of acrylic and gel polish. The biggest thing that people wanted to see was how to remove their acrylics. So with that being said, I was gonna do a fill on my nails this time and take them off and do a fresh set next time, but today I'll just take them off and then I can go ahead and do a fresh set. We're just gonna be using basic household items, maybe, to take off your acrylic nails or your gel polish. So if you wanna learn how to do that, keep watching.
For starters, you're gonna need 2 towels, one laid on the table and one for later. Then you're gonna need a small bowl to soak your fingers in, nail clippers if you have longer nails, and then acetone, of course. And now I have a little envelope where I keep all of these things because I reuse mine. So I have a 100 grit file and a 180 grit file. Then I have my nail buffer. And then lastly, you're gonna need an Orangewood stick or something to scrape your nails with. Next, I'm just going in, making sure that I don't have any lifting here. Be very gentle when doing this, especially if you do have lifting. So next, I'm taking my 100 grit file and I'm going around the cuticle very gently. You want to do this to the whole nail, but I start at the cuticle just because this is where I want to be the most careful. You don't want to hit your natural nail with a 100 grit file. If you are taking just a gel manicure off, you can just do this with your 180 grit file. You only need to remove the top shine. Since I have acrylic on my nails and gel polish, I'm gonna be taking the full layer of gel polish off with my 100 grit file. Now I did leave this part of the video in real time to just show you that I'm taking my time to get the gel polish completely off, and I do want to take down my acrylic just a little bit because that way it's easier for it to soak off. There's less for the acetone to break through. Now if you do have lifting on your nail, this is where you want to be mindful of it, because if you're filing the bottom portion of your nail too hard and you have lifting, it's going to cause your nail to push up and rip layers off of your actual nail bed. So you have to be super gentle if you do have any lifting on it. You also want to be mindful of the skin around your nail, because if you keep filing that skin, it's going to become raw. So you want to use the rest of your fingers on the same hand to really pull back that skin and only touch your nails with the file. Here I'm really just working on filing down my apex. So what your apex is the highest point of your nail. So if your nail tech formed your nail properly, you should have one bit that's a little bit higher than the rest of it, and that's for structure on your nail. So that's gonna take more to soak off. So I'm just really focusing now on my apex to kind of get it in level with my cuticle area, and then I'm gonna take off the rest of my cuticle polish. This finger here was filmed pretty out of frame, so I did speed it up quite a bit, but as I want to show you more things, I'll slow it down again. So notice how I'm really taking my time going around the cuticle and using the rest of my fingers to pull the side of my nails back so that I'm not hitting the skin. So somehow I still have crystals on my fingers, so I'm just going to take my nail clippers and clip these off to make my filing a lot easier. So now you're gonna need to get your bowl, your extra towel, and your acetone. So I'm gonna use my towel just to dust off my hand. Then I'm gonna fill my bowl with acetone, let my hand sit in it for 5 to 10 minutes, and I'm gonna cover it with my extra towel, and that's gonna keep the smell as well as the heat in. So here my nails have been soaking for 7 minutes, and now when I take my hand out of the acetone, it's gonna begin to crumble. So at this point, I'm gonna take my Orangewood stick or whatever you plan on scraping your nails with, and I'm just gonna start scraping them. You do wanna be pretty quick about this step because your acrylic will start to reharden after a little while, so you just wanna be mindful of your time here. Now, if you've pulled your hand out of your bowl of acetone and you're thinking it looks kind of like the consistency of half-dried glue, that's because your nail tech used MMA instead of EMA. That is used to make dentures. It is not supposed to be used on your nails. If that's used on your nails, it's gonna take you 2 to 3 times longer to soak your nails off, and you're gonna have to continue to file and soak them multiple times. If your nail tech used EMA like they should have, your nails will be crumbling off just like mine are right here, and they'll be super easy to get off. So now that your nails are thinner after your first soak, if you do have long nails, this is where you can take your nail clippers and you're gonna look at the back underside of your hand, and you're just gonna clip them where your natural nail meets your nail extension. The reason that you're gonna do that is because you don't want to cut your nail and it split any of it. So just to be on the safe side, you're just gonna cut where your nail meets the extension. Now after my first soak, this is what we're left with. I would like to take the acrylic off a little bit more though, so I'm gonna go back in with my 100 grit file and I'm gonna file all of my nails again. Now when you're doing your second file, if you would like to do a second file, you're gonna have to be super careful with this because you don't wanna hit your natural nail with a 100 grit file. If you are concerned about doing that, you could just go in with your 180 grit file. However, I had a pretty large apex on these, so I needed to remove more bulk. So now that I'm done filing all 5 fingers, I'm just gonna top up my acetone and soak my hand for another 5 to 10 minutes. So here I only soaked my hand for about 5 more minutes and everything pretty much scrapes off really easily. Now on my thumb, I did take too much time getting to it because I wasn't able to really scrape anything off. My acrylic had basically rehardened already. So this is why you want to be mindful of how quickly you're doing this step. So as you can see, there is leftover acrylic on my nails, which I'm okay with, but to smooth it out, I'm gonna go over it with my 180 file. I'm using this file because this is a high enough grit. It means it's smooth enough to use on your natural nail. So during this step, you can also shape your nail to whatever shape you want to keep it in. I usually square mine off a little bit when I have natural nails, so that's what I'll be doing here. So when I went to a salon back in January, the nail tech was so hard on my nails that the nail actually detached from the nail bed. So I'm just gonna take my clippers and clip as much of my nail off as I can so that no bacteria slides under there and causes any fungus. So once you're done cutting and shaping your nails, you can now go wash your hands. So this is what I'm left with. There is still a very thin layer of acrylic left on my nail that I'm just gonna use my buffer now to blend out. I'm leaving this because I'm gonna go back and put on a fresh set of nails, and I don't wanna keep prepping the same nail and filing it down, so I just like to leave a little thin layer of acrylic. If you wanna make sure it's all off, you can certainly do that. It's totally personal preference. Now the buffer is completely safe to use on your natural nail, so that's why I'm using it to blend my natural nail in with the very thin layer of acrylic that I've left. So now again, I'm just gonna use my towel and dust off my nails before I go ahead with our next step. So now this part is completely optional. I'm just gonna be taking my cuticle oil and putting this on my cuticle area. So now that I've applied oil onto my cuticles, I'm just gonna make sure that this is completely rubbed in on all 5 fingers, and I will show you the final look. So here's the final look. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Comment down below for some more video ideas. Subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram.
Come sit. Come on. Julia, this is Toby. That was so bad.